Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is what I feel.
So I've only got a few minutes with you today, and I'd like to talk about a very particular subject that I don't think adults talk about enough, and that is play. Yep, absolutely, play, as in quite literally playfulness. And I want to sum up play with the most wonderful quote by a guy called Professor Stuart Brown. He said, play is like oxygen, in that it's all around us, but you just don't notice it until it's gone. And you know when it's gone, don't you? You know when it's gone from your job, and you absolutely know when it's gone from your relationships. I love it. It's such a powerful quote. But there was a time when play was everywhere for all of us, probably when you were 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 years of age. You know, you think back to when you were 5 and somebody hands you a cardboard box. What's the first thing you did with it? Exactly, you got in it, or you put it on your head, you drove it, you wore it, you flew it, you sailed it, you transformed it, you decorated it, you ate it. It was the ultimate plaything. When was the last time you played in a cardboard box? I'm guessing it's been a while for some of us. When was the last time you, well, it might have been last night, I've absolutely no idea, but when was the last time you looked at a cardboard box and then looked at the top of a staircase and took that box to the top of those stairs and then got in it and slid from top to bottom while shouting the word "we" or "cowabunga" or whatever it was that you shouted when you were a kid as you went from top to bottom, laughing your head off? Again, maybe it's been a wee while. When was the last time you ran in from work and dived onto your bed and rolled yourself up and shouted, "Quick, quick, come and look at me, I'm a sausage roll"? Now, if you're in America right now, I don't know if you have sausage rolls, but we can go with hot dogs. It's an entirely different product, but we can go with that. Again, I'm guessing it's been a little while for some of you. When was the last time you made a cape from your bed covers? Or a fort or a tent? Again, perhaps been a wee while. In fact, there's your homework. I want you all to be a sausage roll tonight. Next time you've been out the house, actually, you run into the house, dive onto your bed, roll yourself up, and you shout, "Quick, quick, come here." Even if you live alone, someone will come running eventually, I hope. And as they run into the room and go, "What is it?" you lie there with a straight face and say, "I'm a sausage roll." And you look at their face. You'll freak them out massively, but it'll be hilarious. And then you jump onto Twitter or Instagram and you find me on there and you just leave me a message that says, "I'm a sausage roll." That's your homework for tonight. So let's think about this thing called play, okay? Play is 3 things. When you actually break it down scientifically, it's imagination, creativity, and innovation. Now, if you think about it, those 3 things are pretty fundamental, pretty key, and pretty central to every business out there, every job, every university, every college, every school. Imagination, creativity, and innovation. Can you imagine we didn't have them? Can you imagine the life we would all lead without those 3 things? The world would be a very strange place. I mean, let's be honest, the world is a very strange place, always, especially at the moment. But actually, in some ways, we have been living without these 3 things a lot, some of us, and we found it hard. But if you remove those 3 things out of the world, we would have no music. Can you imagine? We would have no theatre, no books, no stories to share. We'd have no sport, you know, television and the movies, the cinema, that wouldn't be a thing. Comedy and humour and sarcasm, how we communicate with each other would change massively. It doesn't really bear thinking about, does it? Imagination, creativity and innovation, they're central to everything. So without them, we would live in a very, very mundane world. And this is what play does. It quite literally lifts us out of the mundane. It's exciting, it's fun, it creates opportunities. But in order to be truly playful, you know, we have to be open. We have to be present. We have to be utterly in the moment in order to be truly playful. And I learned a long, long time ago when I was a school teacher working with kids who were 4, 5, 6 years of age, just what it takes to play, because I had very much forgotten. And I think back to my time working with these young kids, and I would probably say that I have been more inspired working with children under the age of 10 than I ever have working with adults. Their mindset, their attitude, their resilience, that bounce back ability that they have is truly mind-blowing. I remember being in the classroom, as that queue forms at the table at the teacher's desk every day. Now, you've all stood in that queue, haven't you? Now, there's usually two good reasons why kids stand in that queue. One is to ask for help, an amazing skill that we seem to grow out of the older we get. There's a lot of adults in the world right now that need to know that it's okay to ask for help. It doesn't make you weak. If anything, it's the opposite. And the other reason, the main reason why kids stand beside a teacher's desk is to tell you that they're finished and they want to know what's next. Because at the age of 5, 6 and 7, it's all about what's next. And every day my mind was blown by these young kids and their enthusiasm and their energy and their excitement and their passion for what's next. It didn't matter how big it was, how small it was, how weird it was, how serious it was. They just wanted to know what was next so they could grab on with 2 hands and run as fast as they could with it. And have a huge amount of fun in the process. But there's a problem with being that young. And it's that we stop being that young and we grow up. I'm a firm believer that we need to stop growing up in this world. We need to start growing down a little bit. We need to send in the 5-year-olds to fix the problems because they'll lead with passion and kindness and love, and it'll all be coming from a good place. Actually, that's what we should do. We should send in a whole team of 3, 4 and 5-year-olds to Westminster, to the White House, to all political buildings and just get them round the table and say, what would you do? And they would probably say, have a big game of tag, hide and seek and eat ice cream. And I'm telling you, that would probably sort a huge amount of things. But the problem is, as we grow up, we lose a particular thing. And the only way I know how to describe it, it's that wee piece of magic. It's that wee piece of magic that we're all born with. I see it in my own kids every single day. I'll give you a quick example of what I mean by this wee piece of magic. We were having dinner one night, in fact we tend to do that most nights, and there was broccoli on the table. And I don't like, on the plate rather, it wasn't just lying on the table, it was on the plate. And I don't really like broccoli, but my kids love it. And my son, who was about 5 at the time, I remember, I wasn't eating mine, and he was like, you should eat your greens. And I was like, you should just get on with your own food, thanks very much. And he picked up a bit off my plate and he said, Dad, broccoli's great fun. It can be stuff. And I thought, I've never heard anybody tell me that broccoli's fun. And I thought, you're going to tell me it looks like a tree. But that's not what he did. He went like this. Imagine it was summertime, Dad. In fact, no, Dad. Autumn. It's genius. It's genius. And I just remember sitting in that moment thinking, isn't it great how at that age you can take anything, and just transform it into anything that you want? There's 3 reasons why kids are so brilliant at this. 1, because they always just want to make things more fun and exciting. 2, they believe it's possible. And 3, they know it's worth all the effort, which is why they'll build Lego for days and days and days and then knock it all down and start again, which is why they will go outside to build a den even though they've been told, but it's going to rain in an hour. And this is exactly what I believe is the biggest problem in the world right now, is we have far too many adults in this world who have made that shift in here and in here from being the person that wants to go out and build a den, and they've turned into the people that think, but it's going to rain in an hour. I think life is like a big bowl of Rice Krispies. Imagine you get a bowl and you fill it with Rice Krispies, but nothing else at this stage, just the Rice Krispies on their own. Don't get ahead of me here. So it's just Rice Krispies. How would we describe them? Plain, dry, beige, pale, silent, still, dusty. It's not exciting until you add what? The milk. And then it snaps, it crackles, it pops, it fizzes, it bangs, it whizzes, it lifts, it floats up out over the edge. You can see it moving in the bowl. But what's interesting is if you don't get stuck in, devour it, top it up, refresh it entirely if you have to, it becomes soggy, it turns to mush, it becomes a bit meh. So if the Rice Krispies are life, that makes you and me the milk. And if we don't get stuck in and devour it and top it up and refresh it entirely if you have to, or sometimes chuck some sugar on. Bear in mind you're not Willy Wonka, but sometimes we have to sugarcoat stuff. Then what happens to life? Well, it becomes a wee bit soggy, it turns to mush, or it becomes a bit meh. So to finish, the last thing I'm going to say to you is this: be the milk.
Thanks so much for joining us for the Train of Positivity Virtual Summit. We hope you choose to have a great day. Please be sure to check out other positive influencers throughout the summit. And if you enjoyed this specific talk, feel free to like and subscribe and share with other positive humans through your favorite social media outlets using the hashtag #TrainOfPositivity.